Get ready for a new episode of KP Talks Dollars and Cents. Learn financial literacy and get real-time updates on all things housing, finance, and real estate with your host, Kevin Perenio. As an owner and C-level executive for 20 plus years in finance, KP is here to serve you with all of his knowledge and experience. Whether you're a broker, realtor, or just interested in the economy, this is the podcast for you. So let's get started. Here's your host, Kevin Perenio.
Hey, it's KP coming to you live from Palm Desert. It is New Year's Eve day, and I'm standing next to a dumpster. And my partner, Jason, he's hiding somewhere. But we just walked this other job we got going. So you've seen the Culver City job that's out there. And we've got this, here, hang on. Sorry, a little furry. Little Italian Sicilian ear grease and nose and face grease on the camera. This is a couple blocks off Paseo, P-A-S-E-O. So look that up in Palm Desert. It's kind of like the main hub. A bunch of bars and restaurants, and it's just one of those neighborhoods that's kind of up and coming. And you've got people from L.A. that are tired of the BS that goes on there, traffic, politics, crime, whatever. And we got haze here today, though. Like you see, LA gets a ton of haze. You got some mountain views out here, and there's some other mountain views really all around. But man, they took this old dog right here and taught it a new trick. So we're pretty cool stuff. Where this dumpster is going to be a pool. You got this nice little palm tree in the yard. You got two of them, and this is a main room out here that's being added on. You've got a footing for the wall right here. Pull this out. It says new concrete poured right here, and that's the old footprint right there. Here's some more footing for this wall. I'm learning all the lingo from my buddy. And a little courtyard area back here. Got some trees, and basically it's kind of an entertainer's type deal, right? So you've got this view when this whole wall is all set up. You can have this view of all the mountains and palm trees and kind of this great room, windows kind of blown open, little bar set up here and stuff. And then out back you can see they're adding some more square footage to the house. So I think we're adding like 900 square feet to the existing footprint. So I think we're 435K in, and probably put in like 300,000 in construction, I believe, and we think we should be able to get maybe 900. Quick little hitter, quick rip. This one, my friend Kendra Rommel at Futures Financial is doing the finance for this fix and flip, and it's fun. It's a fun process. I mean, I know housing is in a recession, but we all know that if rates come down a little bit or prices come down a little bit, that wave of demand that's out there, that demographic demand, it's going to overtake the lack of supply. So we got to put houses out here. This neighborhood is not going to have D.R. Horton or Lennar, which are fantastic builders, but own 53.5% of all brand new single family construction across America. They're not going to come in this neighborhood. It's going to be custom builders like our company here that Jason and Britt and our team run. They're going to come in and regentrify these neighborhoods. I mean, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's mountains, the weather's amazing. I'm standing in short sleeves on December 31st, and may even play golf today. So it's just a gorgeous place to be, and the secret's out. But people want new product. They want a new car, a new sweater, a new this, a new that, and new product being built will fetch new higher dollars. The process is fascinating to me. Obviously, I'm now in a couple of these projects, but you've got a rebar guy that comes in and puts rebar. Then you've got the county guy that comes in and tags. You see like those red lines. So you've got your setbacks that come and tag that. You got your plumbing that gets checked off. You see over there these little blue tapes in the caps. That's all plumbing that's in there. You see the pipes in the ground, and then. It's funny, like just a little delay here that my buddy Jason was telling me about. So this meter we wanted to get moved. This is the gas meter, and like the one gas guy in Palm Desert, he's off. It's holidays, right? So it sets back our whole project. Maybe a week, maybe two, I don't know. And so then you can't come in and pour the concrete down in all these footings that we've dug out. So, as Jason has told me, the pre-pour meeting before you pour is very important, where you get everyone on the same page: electrical, plumbing, setbacks, rebar, all that. Because obviously you can't unpour concrete once you do it. So just fascinating, hearing and learning things, from him and being part of this process and just helping build more housing in America, right? Kind of quiet week economically. Next week is as well. Jobs report still showed 1.7 million continuing claims. So there's people that are holding out. They don't want those 10.3 million jobs that are open because they're getting 1.7 million in continuing claims. Speaking of 1.7 trillion dollar government bill passed to fund our government just through September, when we're fighting inflation. That's crazy, right? So I wanted to talk about this on my video the other day. I couldn't get to it, but the amount these budgets are kind of estimates, right? And then you get either less money coming in or overspend. And what was interesting on this last round, we were like 5.5%, equivalent of GDP, either underfunded or over budget, and 2.5% of that came from the Department of Education, because we've been forgiving or canceling or pushing back the payment of student loans to our government. That the equivalent of 2.5% of our GDP is unfunded from the government. And it's something I mentioned on one of my videos earlier this year, was something called fiscal drag. And when there's less money coming in and there's less money being spent by our government, it is a drag on the economy. And that's absolutely what just happened. Now, that 2.5% is not quite as much as the overspend on the Department of Defense. We're known for overspending as a country. And even though we wound down most of our wars, it's big business in the defense world. My dad worked for Texas Instruments for 33 years in defense contracting. So a lot of money in building weapons and making sure that we're secure and that we're, the police dog of the world, right? The war in Ukraine, surprisingly, is only 0.2% of a spend, that extra bill that we've been passing to help fund that proxy war against us in Russia that Ukraine is fighting. And God bless them. See some nasty videos out there. People still getting killed mercilessly. Anyway, not to be a downer, but inflation could be a little stickier when we're overspending in this country. And but all we need is the economy to snap back. And so we're doing our part, man. We're trying. So hopefully, whenever I post this, it's a brand new year. You're ready for 2023. I'm working on a Saturday. My phone's always on. I'm always answering emails and texts and messages, and it's a grind. It's 24/7. So, man, this mobile phone, it's the fourth industrial revolution. You get what you want, how you want, when you want, interconnected globally, 24/7, right here at your fingertips. So it's hard to shut work off. But if you do what you love, it's not work, right? So I hope you all are making a move to do something you love, that you're passionate about. Remember, building purchase money business, creating deal flow is what it's all about, right? So how are you creating new purchase money business in this industry? Because that's what's going to dominate. We're really good at it at PRMG. I know there's a lot of great lenders that are good at creating business. You don't create business relationships because of pricing or necessarily product. You create it by, communicating at scale, by deepening and creating relationships with people who are also building purchase business. And we think we're pretty good at it at PRMG, and there's a lot of great lenders that are really good at it. So purchase money is going to dominate. Creating deal flow and building business is what matters. And I think we all know who did really well at that year to date, 2022, especially the second half of the year. Tough year, but things are looking better. We'll have a spring purchase season. We'll get an update on this property when it gets a little bit prettier. Wood framing coming soon. Happy New Year from PRMG, KP Talks. Got videos down below. Financial Freedom with KP on your home TV network. From my family to yours. Happy 2023. Happy New Year. Cheers. Hey, it's KP coming to you live from Corona, California. Happy New Year. My first update from the desk. I will not finish all that I have to talk about, but I do want to say Happy New Year to everybody and thank you for
another fantastic year that we're going to build on top of and just keep rolling. Things didn't change just because the calendar changed. We're building on everything in the past. Knowledge, experience, wealth, work ethic, activities, everything builds on top of the next future. So 2023, let's rock, let's get going. And by the way, it's really good to hear that Damar Hamlin, the defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, that got hit in the heart and literally had what's it called, commotio cordis, like basically like agitation of the heart, or like his heart stopped because it got hit so hard in NFL football, and literally had to have a defibrillator defib his electrical circuits in his heart because he just had a heart attack on cardiac arrest right there on the field. Had to stop the game, Bills game in Cincinnati, and that game has been officially canceled. They will not replay it, but he is okay. He's been responsive today, and so if you didn't see that story, it's unbelievable. He asked the doctors when he kind of came to after a couple of days, said, "Did we win?" And the doctor says, "Yes, you won. You won the game of life." So we all have our health. So as I get into some of the doom and gloom that's going on in our economy, recession talk, and housing and all that kind of stuff, I will bring it back to the end in a positive spin if I can get all this information in. So let's get cracking. So this is all Jobs Week. This is about jobs, and good news is bad news. Why? Well, we're supposed to be going into recession, or maybe we're already in recession. The St. Louis Fed said that 26 states are already in a recession right now. And remember, there's like this economic bureau board, whatever, review board that's going to tell us a year from now that we were in a recession. We might not necessarily be in a recession right now by the old technical definition of 2 negative GDP quarters in a row. So why is good news for labor bad news? The Fed is fighting inflation, and the last thing they want to do is they want pain. They've said it. And they said that they have to work on wage inflation. There's this thing called the wage price spiral. As higher wages go up, it creates more dollars chasing less goods, which creates inflation, which is an invisible tax on all of us, and it absolutely crushes the poor. Did you know $200,000 household incomes, 30% of those households are living paycheck to paycheck? That's crazy. If you have $70,000, which is the median income for a household right now, you had about $9,000 in savings, and inflation in the last couple of years to put that down to $6,000. And savings is down from over $2 trillion to under $1 trillion. And credit card debt is going up. We are seeing all the signs. So maybe we are in a recession. But the Fed is still raising rates, said they're going to raise rates, said they have a terminal rate over 5%, which we haven't gotten to yet. And they're going to keep it there longer. And it's going to be longer than you think. It's going to be higher and longer than you think. And all the Fed people start talking all week, telling us that and reminding us that. So they've been spooking the markets. So when good job data comes out, like less weekly jobless claims, that's a good thing. That's bad because that means that we're not fighting inflation. We're not creating job loss. We're not creating a higher unemployment rate to bring down the wages that are out there, right? So that's good news, which becomes bad news in the fight on inflation, which of course becomes bad news for our stock market and higher interest rates and housing and everything that's all tied to it. So what else is out there? Well, the ADP report, which is a private jobs report that came out today, is supposed to only be 150,000 jobs created in the month of December. 240-something thousand jobs were created. Some crazy number like that, right? It's like way higher than they were supposed to. 263,000 jobs were created. It was supposed to be 150. Some number like that. Where is it? 225. There it is. Okay, so 235. Apologize. So that's great, right? Tons of jobs created. More than we thought. Nope, that's not good news. It's bad news because that means the wage price spiral keeps going and inflation's going to be here to stay. And the Fed's going to raise the rates higher for longer and hold it longer, and we're all screwed, especially those in interest rate sensitive industries like housing. So tomorrow, the jobs report, the big one, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the December jobs report that comes out, well, I say tomorrow, it's 1 a.m. here on the West Coast. So today, later this morning, after I get done with this and have a little bit more work, and I got to drive an hour, and I got to get up after 4 hours and get up at the market at 6:30 local time, and also to hear what the jobs report is at 8:30 Eastern time, you're going to find out how many jobs are created. The estimate is 200,000 jobs created. Last month, when the report came out, the first Friday of December for the November jobs report, the estimate was also 200,000 jobs. And what was created? Like 263,000 jobs. And so that was great news. Nope, bad news, because that helps the wage price inflation spiral continue to go up. So are we going to have that again? Are we going to have more than 200,000 jobs created in the month of December, which is really the second half of November and then the first half of December, the December jobs report? Lots of seasonal jobs in there. They get counted differently. There's a household survey component. There's a chance that we have better than 200,000 jobs created, which would be bad. So the stock market would probably sell off again. It's been touching at the S&P at 3,800. It's been touching at that technical level and bouncing. Is this the catalyst to bring it down below that technical level? I don't know. So I'm not cheering for job loss, but am I supposed to be cheering against job creation? So it's a very interesting time where good news is bad news. You're going to have revisions from past reports. You're going to have productivity, weekly wage growth and hourly wage growth. All these things will be dissected, in the minutes and hours after it's released in the morning. But what does this all have to do with anything? Remember basic economy. We studied way back in the day. Higher productivity creates higher wage growth, which then creates higher wage prices. But because of the Fed's actions and too many dollars in the system with, all the stimulus money and all this liquidity floating around, we had higher goods, higher prices, higher inflation, which then that was greater than the wage growth, which wasn't keeping up with it. And now it is obviously pushing it up with less and less stimulus out there with the money supply. And then we don't have the productivity keeping up. So we're trying to turn the corner. We're trying to get productivity up, and then that would get wage growth to grow, but for prices to come down with all of this action from the Fed to curb inflation. We're trying to do what's supposed to be happening in the right order. Productivity, wage growth, then prices. We went prices, wage growth, and then productivity last. So we'll look at productivity. Now, Amazon has hired about 1 million people in the last couple of years. Okay, they fired 18,000 people. Like seasonal stuff is over. It's awful if you're one of those 18,000 people. Certainly not trying to marginalize that. But talking macro, is that going to be enough to move the needle? Now, what's crazy is, these companies, when people get let go, productivity goes up for those that are left, assuming that there's something to do. That means that there's business to conduct, that there is more earnings to be made, there is more business coming in because there's more consumer demand, which our economy is 70% consumer demand driven. So is there going to be demand? Well, we're seeing demand come down. That's what the Fed wants. We've been seeing demand come down. We've been seeing inflation come down. We've been seeing it in owner's equivalent rent, new rent prices, home prices. People aren't buying as many cars. They're buying as many goods. They're still going out for, dinner and services and leisure and hospitality, which is where the jobs are coming from, which in the holidays, last half of November, early part of December, might see some of those jobs created. The job opening report, 10.46 million jobs still open, 1.74 jobs for every human being out there in America. So it's a sticky labor market. How sticky is it? I don't know. Remember Dr. Copper? We talked about Dr. Copper. It's down 13% in a year. So that's kind of a barometer. How the copper price does is a barometer of how the economy does. Steel is down about 13%. Gold is starting to go up. Gold's been going up about 3%. Gold and silver the last month, which is usually a hedge against inflation, because this is all about liquidity. It's about money. It's about our balance sheet. It's about our savings. And the Fed is bringing liquidity down. We are seeing less money in our bank accounts. There's less business out there, but there's still plenty of jobs. So it's the last shoe to drop. So remember, this is all about buying and selling money. This is about liquidity. On that note, a good note is that, 5% rates or less, like 95% of all mortgages out there are under 5%. So they fix themselves at these lower rates. So they have a little cushion there. Maybe they have more money to spend on services and going out to dinner because they fixed that biggest expense, the mortgage. But if you are renting, just until recently, you didn't see rent going down. You may be locked in a lease from prior before. And so that's a bright spot. It's something to tell our new customers that are getting into homes for the first time that you could fix in a low payment. So when rent goes up over time, you have that cushion. That's why it's such an advantage to not only fix your payment for your cash flow, for your balance sheet, but then to gain appreciation on an asset to build your wealth. Good to be back with you. Sorry I'm so scruffy. Pray for a good jobs report. Cheers.
You've been listening to KP Talks Dollars and Cents, a top-rated show for those who want to learn about the economy and mortgage environment. Tune in each week for more episodes, and please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Kevin Perenio does not render or offer to render personalized investment or tax advice through KP Talks Dollars and Cents. The information provided is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, tax, investment, or legal advice. For more info, follow KP Talks Dollars and Cents on all of our social channels.